Recently, I started getting into kefir grains for kefir water, which is a sweet juice beverage, and it gives you way more probiotics than the milk kefir, and it's especially good for people sensitive to dairy. The very first batch of water kefir grains that I ordered, it turned out great. I just didn't know there was more to taking care of kefir grains, and so they would end up kind of dissolving after a few batches. I did more research into it. I was surprised there's not very many videos of people doing water kefir, but my learning curve might help someone else wanting to get into it. And the benefits of kefir water are that the kefir grains eat sugar. And so if you make juice or sugar water with the kefir grains, they're actually going to eat most of the sugar in the beverage, and you're going to get to still enjoy the sweet taste without getting all that sugar. It's very similar to kombucha, except instead of using the mother, which they use for kombucha, you would use the kefir grains. Really quick, I don't want to take too much time on the boring stuff, but this was the brand of kefir grains that I got, and they recommend doing a new batch every 48 hours to 72 hours. Some people will tell you that if it's hot, you want to do it for 12 hours. If it's hot inside your house, they're going to work way faster. And if it's cooler, you could be anywhere from 1 to 3 days before you have a nice fermented end product. So on their cards, they have some tips, and you'll notice that you need to be reading this like a graph. So start here, you would want this many kefir grains per quart, this many kefir grains per half gallon, and this many kefir grains per 1 gallon. And you read across just like that all the way. So this is how much water you would want for a quart, half gallon, full gallon, and just keep going across there. Molasses, I have not ever worked with, so I'm not sure why they even put molasses on there, but I know that it's good at feeding the grains. So here's the temperature, and you'll see that if you're 76, 78 degrees, it's going to be about a 3-day process. Okay, if you're really cool, like, I don't know, less than 65, it could be 5 days, they're saying here. I've never gone longer than 3, and I come out with a really nice bubbly pop type beverage. If you're really hot, like down in Florida, you're going to be 1 to 2 days, and some videos I've seen say 12 hours. So it can really happen fast. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was that if you want to take a break and not be making a batch of this every single day or every couple of days, you can actually take a break by soaking and rinsing them. And I've read that doing that in the spring water is most beneficial. And then you would strain them and gently pat them dry. Remove as much excess water as possible, and then put them in a glass jar with a secured coffee filter or paper towel around the top, and you can put them on the lowest shelf of your fridge and they'll last 7 to 10 days, but they say any longer than that and you're going to want to dehydrate them. I recommend that you get online and read all the awesome benefits of kefir water if you haven't. There's so many benefits to it, and it's super easy. Yay! I ordered my kefir grains, and it's been a couple days and they're here. So they sent me 2 little containers like this. And that's about 1/4 of a cup, which they recommend per quart jar when you make water kefir. So what I did is they sent them to me in these. I put them in 2 bowls with spring water. The spring water I was reading really helps between batches, like maybe every 2 to 3 batches. They say soak your kefir grains in spring water. I just got this at Walmart the other day when we were there. Anyway, so Well water, I was surprised to find out well water is the best when you're actually making your batch of kefir grains because the minerals in it actually feed and keep them healthy. So after they soak in this spring water, I am going to cook up a batch of sugar water. There's a recommended brand of sugar. It's an unprocessed sugar. I got a non-GMO brand. And I will be making some dissolved sugar water, and I'll use my own tap water, which is well water, and we'll carry on from there. Now I have my sugar water ready. The sugar's been dissolved and it's now at room temperature, which they say is between 60 degrees and like 82 degrees. The cooler the temperature in your house, the longer it'll need to ferment, so maybe up to 3 days. If it's really hot and humid in your home, it would take probably 12 before the kefir grains start to starve of sugar, because the warmer it is, the faster they eat up the sugar in your beverage. The sugar I was talking about last time that's highly recommended is called, it's right here, Demerara cane sugar, and that's also Florida crystals. The kefir grains I'm using are Florida Sun Kefir. I think it cost me about $15 for the 2 1/4 cup containers. Anyway, this sugar is recommended because it's not as processed. It's more like a raw sugar, and it's just more friendly for your kefir grains to keep them healthy and to keep them reproducing. You'll actually get more grains if you take good care of them. So that's what I got at Walmart for about $4, and I can get this exact same size, which is 44 ounce, 2 pounds, 12 ounces. I can get it on Amazon for $15, but at Walmart in store it was like $4 for this. So now that I have my kefir grains soaking in their spring water to kind of neutralize them, I think I mentioned that in the last video, it neutralizes them in case they've absorbed too many minerals from the well water or too much sugar. Putting them in spring water for a little while just kind of clears that out. We're gonna strain them in this. They don't recommend that you strain kefir grains in metal because they're so soft and delicate. So I got this at Walmart as well the other day, and it's actually made for cans. So that's what you would find, is something to strain your canned goods. I got this because it's plastic, it's not going to be damaging to the kefir grains. And so what we're going to do is drain the spring water from the kefir grains. And then we're going to add it to our quart jar, which is 4 cups of well water and 1/4 of a cup of sugar dissolved. That's it. Put a lid on this and put it somewhere dark, away from light. You don't really want to leave it next to your fridge because that's an appliance. You kind of want to get it away from the appliances. And I put a dark cloth over mine. And I usually let it sit for about 2 days in my house. I live in Washington State, so it's a little bit cooler. And after that amount of time, I'll be able to strain off the kefir grains using this little nifty thing that I got. And I may or may not soak them in spring water again before I put it into another batch of freshly dissolved sugar water. Maybe after 2 or 3 batches, I would soak it in the spring water again to neutralize it. And then I can show you later how you can do a second ferment by adding juice, and you can actually make a nice bubbly pop style beverage.